You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Blackshear takes on Cody Gibson this Saturday at UFC Fight Night back in the Apex. And this is a really fun fight at 135 pounds. These guys are both really big for the division, so I'm excited to see kind of who's able to implement their game plan going into this one. Cody Gibson's usually the bigger fighter in a lot of his fights, almost all of his fights. He's 5'10" at 135 pounds. That's why I picked him in his last fight against Chad Anheliger. I just knew Chad Anheliger was undersized. Cody Gibson likes to push forward, kind of bully guys, be aggressive, look for takedowns, and that's exactly what he did to get that decision over him. And before that, did the same thing against Brian Kelleher, got him to the ground, arm triangle, choked him. So both those guys, though, they're pretty small for the division. And Brian Kelleher, they're both I guess they're both small and getting up there in age. So it's hard to compete in these lower weight classes when you're getting that high up in age. And speaking of which, Cody Gibson's 37 years old, fighting at 135. So at some point, it's the younger man's game. He's going to start to slow down. He did lose to Miles Johns and Brad Katona. It seems like if he can't get his takedown game going, he doesn't really do very well. And so that's kind of why I'm picking Blackshear in this one. He's the younger guy. He's going to have the same height and a reach advantage, I believe. Yeah, he's going to have a 1-inch reach advantage. They're both 5'10", but he's 30 years old, just coming into his prime. Had a great performance in his last fight against Cody Stamann, who's also a grappler, who's a good boxer and wrestler, and he was able to keep it on the feet. Lands a beautiful flying knee, follows it up with like a 5 or 6 punch combination to drop him. Goes for the mounted guillotine, eventually gets the back and chokes Cody Stamann out. So great performance by him. Before that, he got knocked out by Montel Jackson in 18 seconds. Montel Jackson's a stud. He's fighting Daniel Marcos coming up too. So no really shame in that. Don't really learn a lot with him just kind of getting caught. And before that, he took a short notice fight against Mario Batista and went 3 rounds with him. But I just think Blackshear, he's the younger guy. I think he's got more power on the feet. I think he's the better grappler, and has more of a submission threat. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, former high school wrestler. Very, very good takedowns that we've seen in his fights. Took down Jose Johnson, twisted him, had a really good performance with Luan Lacerda on the ground. Went to a majority with Yusuf Zalal, who I'm super high on. I think's really good. Lost to Farid Basharat, who just kind of outpointed him on the feet, but that was really early in his career. I think he's improved a lot since he got into the UFC, but Cody Gibson's a dog, though. He's gritty. He mixes up his takedowns really well with his strikes. He's a good fighter. I think he's really well-rounded, tough guy, but just hasn't really been able to put together a good string of wins. He'll win 2, lose 2. Was in the UFC back in the day, got cut, came back in through the Ultimate Fighter, and lost to Brad Katona, I think it was, in the finals. And Brad Katona's okay. He's just not one of the elite guys that I would say. Just lost to Jean Matsumoto, who then lost to Rob Font. So hard to say where Cody Gibson is in his career. It seems like when he's fighting these top guys like Miles Johns or even Brad Katona, if you want to call him top, he's losing by decision. And the only wins that he's getting as of late are kind of bums on the Ultimate Fighter or guys that are, late 30s and too small for the division, kind of tweeners that probably should be cut into 125. So I'm going to go with Blackshear. I am concerned that Cody Gibson will be able to kind of nullify his grappling and his takedowns just because he's decent there too. And he's just as big, and maybe he outpoints Blackshear on the feet, but I just think Blackshear, I think he's really good. He showed a lot of power in his last fight against, who was it? Yeah, Cody Stamann. I just think he'll be able to land the better strikes on the feet and potentially get the takedowns and do work from there and get the submission. But like I said, Cody Gibson's no slouch. I just worry about the fact that he's not going to be the bigger guy this time. He's not going to be able to bully him around. He's getting older. Blackshear is the credentialed better grappler in terms of belts. He is a black belt versus Cody Gibson's brown belt, I believe. And Blackshear, I feel like, is huge for the weight class as well. I think he's going to be stronger as well, and it's going to hit harder. So I'm going to go with Blackshear in this one. I think he gets a decision. I don't know if he'll put Cody Gibson away. Cody Gibson, usually if he's losing, it's by decision. For his last few losses, he did lose by guillotine choke, but he's lost by guillotine choke twice. But other than that, it's usually decisions. Guillotine choke 3 times he's lost by. But other than that, it's usually decisions. So I could see Damon Blackshear winning a decision, maybe if he goes to the ground, catching a choke of some kind. But pretty confident that it's Damon Blackshear's time, just by how he's looked as of late. He is a big favorite in this one, minus 400 to Cody Gibson by Cody Gibson at plus 310. Cody Gibson's not a bad dog, honestly. I could totally see him defending takedowns and edging him on the feet, or out scrambling him when he shoots takedowns, but I just think Damon Blackshear is too good. So gonna go with Damon Blackshear by submission, but more than likely decision. Thanks.